Where are you going?
Hey everyone, it's Skyee here again, and today I am here with part 2 of my finished flips through my coloring books. In part 1 we left off with Hannah Lynn's books and Jasmine Beckett Griffiths, so I figured I'd keep it rolling with books of people. So we're going to go through a few of Jade Summer's and Hanna Karlzon's, and I'll just throw in some other books. My goal is to keep these videos at about half an hour. So first, I don't have anything finished in this book, but I just received this copy of Irene the other day. I won this off of a giveaway on Instagram, and I was super excited because I really love Nicholas's books, but the postage to get them here is crazy and I just can't afford it. So I was really happy to be able to win this. It is an absolutely beautiful book. I wasn't expecting the cover to be paper, and the pages are a bit thinner than I thought they would be, but I've heard great things about the paper. And the images in it are just gorgeous. Super excited to color in this. Lots of beautiful images, and it comes with this pull-out poster, which is really awesome. I will definitely be coloring this side and putting it on my wall, but it does have this side as well. So I just wanted to show that off because I was pretty excited about that. I apologize if you can hear my cat eating in the background. I had to keep him in here because he's not being very nice to his sister right now. So I'm going to start off with Jade Summer's books first. I've only worked in 2 of them, and I only have 1 image done in each. So this is the page I have done in Jade Summer's Fairies. I just finished this one not too long ago, actually on the 23rd of January. I'm not sure when I'm going to get these videos up. I'm still recording in advance. I was actually really happy with this one. I have to say though, I'm not a big fan of the paper in these books. I thought it would be similar to the paper in Hannah's books, but it actually seems to be of lesser quality, if that's even possible. Next is Chibi Girls Horror, and I actually literally just finished a page in here. So I just finished this one. This little girl creeping through the swamp. I'm super, super happy with how this turned out. And it's just super fluorescent, super eye-catching. If you watched my color book collection video, you'll know that I wasn't too impressed with this paper, but after actually coloring a whole page, I am not unhappy with this paper. It still leaves little bits of white peeking through, but it actually blends really nice, or the Prismacolors blend really nice on this paper. And even when it feels like you can't get any more layers, it's like you can keep adding more and more and more, and the paper will just take it, which is really nice. So really happy with how she turned out. Next up is Hanna Karlzon's. I only have 2 of her books. I have Daydreams and Summer Nights, and I finished a few pages in each of these, I believe. This one took a long time for me to do, mostly because of the background, because I did use pencil, which I usually try not to use pencil for backgrounds. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I put some glitter on the flowers and the butterflies. Fairly happy with this page. I'm not 100% sure of the background for it though. I feel like the flowers kind of blend in a little too much. It's been a long time since I flipped through these books. I'm not sure which ones I've done. So here's another one that I've done, and I'm actually really, really happy with this one too. I love the muted colors and the limited palette. I did use acrylic paint for the background, which is totally fine to do in Hanna Karlzon's books. As you can see, none of it came through. But I use just a damp brush just enough water so it's not dry, and just straight acrylic paint, not mixed with water or anything. So it appears that those are the only two pictures that I've colored in here so far, aside from the ownership page. I don't know what you'd call that, the title page almost, I suppose. No, that would be the title page. Again though, really happy with how that one turned out. I love putting in lots of colors, and even more so when it actually turns out, because usually I use a lot of colors and it's just too much. It's not really appealing, there's just too much to look at. But for this one, I think I found a good balance with it. Next we have Summer Nights. I was super happy with those flowers, not so happy with her hair, especially with coloring Hanna images. I should be fairly good at doing hair by now, but for some reason I just could not get this hair to look like I wanted it to. Although very happy with her makeup. I did put makeup on her and she doesn't look like a clown, so it was one good thing. Here is just practicing blending and shading on these little buildings here. I'll probably paint that background black just so it's not plain Paige. Some of these I've sticky noted with ideas, but haven't gotten around to coloring them yet. Hanna Karlzon's images scare me a little bit. There's just so much detail. I sometimes feel like I don't know how to color everything. So I haven't done the front here, but I have done The Book Belongs to Paige. Again, really happy with the color harmony of this. I wasn't 100% sure on the background either, but I actually really like how it turned out. So we're only at about 7 minutes, so let's go through with the Johanna Basford books. So I'm going to kind of go in order that they came out. So I'm going to start with Enchanted Forest because I don't have Secret Garden. So here was the first page that I've colored in here, and I don't mind it. I do feel like I used a little bit too much color, and I'm not a huge fan of the title. I did it in gel pens, and then I think I went over it with black because I didn't like it, but oh well. I used Prismacolor Scholars for that. The Book Belongs to Paige I absolutely hate. It's just way too much color, no color harmony. You can kind of tell that it's just, I don't know, the colors just don't really go together. It's just not as appealing as the limited color palettes. So here's one that I've started. This is technically still a work in progress, but it's just a background, so I'm not too concerned about it. You, mister, are not jumping on my shelf, but nice try. You're in timeout for being mean. But I got the main part of the page colored, and I'm just trying to figure out a background because I don't really just want to leave him like that. I mean, I could, but I'm not sure I want to. So here's another one I colored. I did this with Prismacolor Scholars, and this is one of my favorite pages. I absolutely love this color palette. It's just super bright. The colors just really go well together, and I kind of did kind of a galaxy thing in some of the leaves, which I really enjoy doing. Here's a double page spread that I've done, and this took me quite a while. I used Prismacolor Scholars for this as well, and I used pastel for the background, which is like cotton candy clouds. So really happy with how this one turned out, especially this blue tree here. Those are it's probably one of my favorite color combinations. Another two that I've finished. This is another one of my favorites. I seem to have stuck with doing the purples and pinks with the greens and blues in this book quite a bit. And then I just rubbed some pastel on the background and then used an eraser to kind of create some clouds. This one here, I do enjoy. I do wish that I had done the dots in like a blue maybe, and then just did little tiny accents of the orange and yellow. But other than that, I can't complain too much. I did add a little bit of a ground here, and then just pastel for the background, and then I could just kind of erase some of the pastel for some sun rays. Here is the feather page finished. I was really happy with this one too. It was super fun, all the galaxy feathers, all these different colors, and then to make the feathers look like they were floating was really fun to do. This, I believe, I did a color together with one of my friends, and I decided to go out of my comfort zone and use kind of autumn colors, which aren't really my favorite, so I kind of struggle with using them, but I think it turned out pretty good. Really happy with the clouds in the background too, and not overdoing it. It's just very subtle and just kind of adds to it. It's crazy looking at all my old images that I've done. It really helps you see how much you've improved. This one, I was just bored one day and I wanted to color a page kind of mindlessly. So I actually took some green, blue, and yellow pastels and just kind of blended them together. And then I went in with acrylic paint and just painted through all of the line work that Johanna has in here. And I'm actually really happy with how that page turned out. Next was the coat of arms. I do like this image. The only thing that kind of bothers me about this image is the green. But other than that, I think everything goes well together. Super fun to color because I love coloring castles, and again I did my kind of galaxy thing in the trees and some of the leaves. This was another page I colored with my friend, the one that actually got me this book, but we don't really talk much anymore. And again I did a limited color palette. I was kind of going with a winter or cool color kind of theme, and then just a bunch of little silver accents. I think everything in here is with my Prismacolor Scholars. I don't think I've touched it with my premieres yet. So that's it for that book. Next we have Lost Ocean, which is another one of my favorites. So there's going to be tons of pages in here that I've colored. So here's the title page. I used Mark over Fiends for this, and then soft pastels, I think. And I think I used glitter eyeshadow for the white here, although it's kind of lost its glitter. It used to be really pretty. Use Scholars for this page. And, oh no, I lied. I think I used Crayolas for this. Maybe even Crayolas for that too. No, those were Mark over Venus. Those were Crayolas, and I used Crayola for the Belongs To page as well. These pages, not too happy with. I believe I used Scholars for these pages, and then I kind of did some pencil fading into some gold eyeshadow. Sorry, my cat's in his litter box. He's very loud. So I used some gold eyeshadow, which I thought would kind of look cool, like a map with kind of like a shimmery effect. And it does look neat, but I'm not a huge fan of how it looks with everything else. So this, I believe, was one of the first pages I colored in here. Super happy with how this turned out. I used Scholars and pastels for the background. Again, just Prismacolor Scholars for this one as well. And I believe I used Premiers for this one. Pretty sure, yeah. And then I did use kind of like a yellow pastel for the background, but I wish I hadn't because it kind of, I don't know, it made everything look a little bit dull. But it's a learning process. So these pages, I actually started with the fish first. I cannot take credit for the combination here or really the whole fish in general. I was inspired by one that I seen on Pinterest, but I couldn't find the original artist for it, so I can't credit them. I've seen it redone a few times, so I know who all has done it, but I don't know who originally did it. So I used that for the fish, and then I decided to use the same palette for the jellyfish. So I don't know why, but I like having my pages match. Even if they don't go together, I like having them somewhat match in color. I'm kind of OCD like that. And I also used pastels for the background and Peter Hewitt's Bubble tutorial. So next up was the seahorse. These again were done with the Scholars, or no, sorry, these were done with the Premiers, I believe. Well, actually, it could have been the Scholars too. It's hard to say, they look very similar. So I actually did my rainbow ombre with the seahorses, and then I was too afraid to do any more color in them because I didn't want it to look too, like have too much color in one area, especially with all these tiny little designs, so I decided to do it in black, white, and gray for the rest of it. Really happy with how that turned out. This page here was also done with Scholars, I believe, and then I used acrylic paint for the background. I do have some glittery areas in the sky. Not 100% happy with this, if I'm honest. I don't really like how the background turned out. This was another double page spread that I did. I want to say that I used Prismacolors for this. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The only thing I wish I could change is the shells. I don't really like the color combination I used for them. But I wouldn't complain too much. I think it worked out. And I used acrylic paint for the background. Get a little bit of sparkle there on the dome, which is probably my favorite part. Shark page I did with Scholars. Not super happy about it. I did add some stuff in the background and I was fairly happy with the bubbles, but other than that, I think I could have done a little bit better. Some of these have the hidden objects already colored in, so I wanted to do them all the same. So this page I actually really like. Again though, not sure about the green. I wish I would have used a different color for that. But everything else I'm super happy with. I really liked the color combinations that I used for this page. This one I actually have a tutorial up on YouTube, and for this I used Crayolas actually, and I also used some pastel and acrylic paint. Just the white is the acrylic paint, so I wanted to do waves coming in. This was inspired by somebody, and I had it written down somewhere, but I'm not sure where it went. But I was super inspired by her image and decided to do my own. I believe hers went diagonally across the page though. But this is probably one of my favorite pages in Lost Ocean. This one I finished a long time ago. Still haven't put up an image on Instagram because I really don't like it. I don't like the color combination I used, and I don't like the pastel circles that I thought at the time would look cool, but I actually really don't like it at all. And if I put pastel on a page, I'll usually try and keep some stuff between the pages. Otherwise, that happens. Kind of gets messy. This one, my friend convinced me to do for a color along. This is my favorite page in Lost Ocean, and I'm happy that it turned out pretty good. I'm sure if I redid it now, though, I could make it look even better, especially with my premieres, because this was done with the Scholars, which I didn't really know how to blend very well at that time. They were kind of a little bit harder. Pretty happy with how that turned out. This is another page I really love. I think I went with a color palette off Google for this, but I could be wrong. But I really love those soft greens with the pinks. I'm usually not a huge fan of wallpaper images, but I really, really liked this one. And my favorite part, I don't know if I can get it to show. Let's see if turning on my light helps. Is the fish actually glitter. I put gold glitter on the pink fish, which I think really makes them stand out. That gold and that pink goes really well together. This we did for another color along. This took me forever. It is all pencil except for the black and the white, which is acrylic paint. Kind of kept it simple. And then I just made the little bubbles glittery. Really happy with how that turned out. Dolphins I liked until I put the background in. I still like it, just not as much. I used Scholars for that. My whale I used Premiers, and then I painted in a very sad representation of Dory and Nemo, and then put a little bit of a background in there. I don't mind it. It was pretty good for what I was going for, and it was good practice. So the last page I've completed in here was the mermaid page. Super happy with this. I decided to do Ariel and Melanie with the two mermaids. And I did this with the Prismacolor Scholars, and was super happy with the result. Especially back then, so I didn't know a lot of the techniques that I do now. I actually wish that I could recolor that one. Anyways, next is Magical Jungle, which I'd love to skip over because there's a page in here that I'm really not proud of, but actually there's two pages in here I'm not a big fan of, but learning experience. So this one here I did with watercolors, and then I was going over with pencil to do some shading, and right now it looks awful. I really don't like it, but I'm hoping that once I finish it, if I ever do, this is the only work in progress I never finished. If I ever finish it, I hope that it will look good. I don't even know why I started this one. It's all leaves, which is really boring to color for me anyways. A lot of people love leaves. I am not one of those people. So I do really love this book, but I haven't colored much in it. Super proud of this butterfly and the color palette with that. Just very happy with that. And this page I really liked until I put the background in there. I don't know why, I really don't like it. My drawing of, the jungle guy and the purple dude, I don't even know who they are. Just decided because it's Magical Jungle that I would do something from the Jungle Book. And yeah. I like the background though with the trees, that looks okay, but I could have done a little bit better on the characters, I think. So for the title page and the This Book Belongs To page, I followed Jackie Young's tutorial. I don't know if she had it just on her Facebook page or on YouTube, so I'm not sure if I can link that for you guys. But I was super happy with how these ones turned out. I love the limited color palettes and my ability to actually do my name super fancy for once. And then again, really happy with how this one turned out too. I was a little bit nervous, but pretty happy with that. And I think for all of Johanna Basford's books, I'm just going to start doing all this lettering black, because every time I try to put color to them, they just look awful. Next up is Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and I've only done one page from this, and that is the cover page. At least I think I've only done one page. Yeah, I've only done this one. It's grown on me though. I did a background for that. There's a video that's going to be on that, and then I painted over the background because I didn't like how it looked with everything else. And then I kind of added everything in, and it's a little lopsided. That line's not straight. It should be more like that. But pretty happy with how it turned out. I won't complain too much. And it even has a little swipe from my kitty's paw because she decided to step in the paint before I scooted her off the page. So we still have about 5 minutes, so let's do one more book. Actually, let's do two. We'll do these two. So this is Birds by Georgie Woolridge, and I've only done a few pages in here. These were all colored with the Staedtler pencils, just like the normal triangle plus ones, I think. So not very pigmented, very hard pencils. I do really like this one though. And I haven't finished my hummingbird because I can't decide on colors for it. Anyways, that's all I have for that book so far. And lastly, we're going to leave off with The Jungle Book, which is based on the original story. I'm not sure who the artist is. I don't think it says either. But again, I've only done one page in here, and that is my peacock page, which I was actually really happy with, and I used Crayolas for this. So I kind of like the pastel look of it. It's aesthetically pleasing, I think. Definitely works to your benefit not using more colors than you need, which I still struggle with, but I'm slowly getting better. But anyways, that is it for part 2, and I hope to see you guys for part 3, which will probably be the final part of my finished flip. I hope you guys are enjoying, and stay tuned for any other videos going up. I have lots of art videos, coloring videos, nail videos, just lots of videos that before I was trying to scramble to get videos done for you guys, and now I just have so many I don't even know when to put them up. I could put one up once a week if I wanted to, but I'm going to save them and make you guys wait because I'm mean like that. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye!